Mr. Hopkins, could you open us with a word of prayer?
Father, we thank you and praise you for another opportunity to gather as a community. Lord, we pray a special blessing on our meeting tonight. Pray that all that's said and done will be in accordance with your will. And we'll be careful to give you the praise in Christ's name. Amen.
All right. Does anybody have any question on the departmental reports? No? Okay. No public comment? Proclamation, thank you. Would you?
Sure, Mayor, I'll be glad to. Proclamation, Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month, April 2022. Whereas in federal fiscal year 2021, the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services confirmed 68,517 victims of child abuse or neglect, including 383 in Jasper County. And whereas our children are our most valuable resources and shape our future, and child abuse and neglect are serious problems affecting every segment of our community and has long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects that can have lifelong consequences for victims. Additionally, the impact of abuse and neglect has long-term personal, economic, and social costs, therefore hurting the future of our community. And whereas prevention remains the best defense for our children and families, and whereas finding solutions requires input and action from everyone in our community, and we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about child abuse and contribute to promote the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, nurturing environment. Whereas effective child abuse prevention activities succeed because of the meaningful connections and partnerships created between child welfare, education, health, community, and faith-based organizations, businesses and law enforcement agencies, and volunteers. Communities must make every effort to encourage volunteerism and promote programs and activities that benefit children and their families. Whereas court-appointed special advocates, CASA volunteers, are assigned by the court to speak up for a child's best interest and help ensure a child's voice is heard. Every child in foster care deserves a CASA volunteer, but roughly less than half the children in care do not have a CASA volunteer. And whereas CASA of the Sabine-Neches region, Child Protective Services, child advocacy centers, foster parents, teachers, and others work to ensure that children in our community have a safe, happy future. Now, therefore, the Honorable Randy Sayers does hereby proclaim April 2022 as Child Abuse Awareness and Prevention Month in the city of Jasper, Texas, and urges all citizens to recognize this month by dedicating ourselves to the task of improving the quality of life for all children and families.
Thank you, Councilman. Also, April is Fair Housing Month. It says Title 8 of the Civil Rights Act of 1968 as amended prohibits discrimination in housing and declares it a national policy to provide within constitutional limits for fair housing in the United States. Therefore, the City Council of Jasper do proclaim April as Fair Housing Month in the city of Jasper, and do hereby urge all citizens of this locality to become aware of and support fair housing laws. We have no public comments, so item 1, consider the approval of 3 sets of minutes.
I'd like to move to approve those.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passed unanimously. Number 2, consider approval of bids received from LJA Engineering for the City of Jasper American Rescue Plan Act for the sanitary sewer line replacement project.
I think
it's been discussed before, we have a sewer line that, starts over here by the sheriff department, it's a truck line, goes all the way through town, comes in over here at the treatment plant, discharges over there. It's the old concrete line, it's in very poor shape, we've got a lot of issues, we've been trying to patch it along to get this taken care of. I think y'all have talked about this before and said that we go out for bids, we actually went out for bids, and tonight we'd like approval to award the bid.
Who are you gonna do?
Who we gon',
It's gonna be, Alco was the bid, winner on that, open bids the other day.
I'll make a motion to approve Alco as recommended by Bob.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously. Item number 3, consider approval of the first quarter City of Jasper investment report.
Mayor and council, this is just normal housekeeping that I get to you every quarter. It's just an audit request that we let you know where our investments are.
so are we looking on our investments? This is, okay.
Make a motion to approve.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Item number 4, consider approval on maintenance and repairs of the Decog building.
Brandon Duckworth's gonna give you a little update on it, but we have been trying to get the Decog building back up to shape. We've worked on it, they've gone back through and got all the fire codes and everything up, fire extinguishers, alarms. Electrical is back to original. We've had the outside painted, but there are some other additional work that needs to be done. Brandon, you wanna give them
Yes,
a
ma'am.
little brief history?
Mayor and council, I got at y'all's stations there, a packet put together. The first page has already been done, we went out for bids on pressure washing the building and sidewalks, got that done. And the next few pages, we have not got that work done yet because it's gonna be a little bit amount of money to spend. And we wanted to pass it by y'all first, just got some money figures there put together to show you what we're looking at money-wise. We'll have to seal and paint the outside of the building, all the way around it, top to bottom. And, got some sheetrock work to be done in the interior. After the city replaces the sheetrock, we have to have someone come in and tape and float it, as well as painting the inside the sheetrock will be repaired, and the block in the interior.
Are all these, the companies that you have, are these all local companies?
Yes, sir.
And we haven't really sat down and decided who to go with or whatever, we just got some of these in this afternoon.
Okay.
But we need, if possible, your approval to proceed with it, because we have something working in the wind, but we can't do anything with the building as it is right
They
now.
under a bid process.
All these were under a bid process, yes,
Okay.
We do have somebody that we're looking at to take this building if we.
possibly, yeah.
So you'll be coming back to us?
Well, coming back to you as far as if we, have any problem with the lease, but we really.
We need this done now?
We really need this done, just for, we're gonna, all of them are gonna be bid process, but we really don't have the time to wait for another month to come back.
I'll make a motion to
Go ahead.
approve this, and just whenever you get totals done, for informational use only, I'd like to see them in one of our department reports, it's fine.
Can we move to approve this pending that
I
day?
got a motion, do I have a second?
Got a second.
Got a second, all in favor, say aye.
I'd like to ask a question,
Okay.
Mayor. Okay. Denise, do we have, any idea of the number? What, I mean, have y'all added all the numbers up
It's probably gonna be close to about 45,000.
for everything?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because we're talking about the inside, painting of the outside ceiling and the inside painting between what we've already done in the past, but we think that we can get it back up to, there was a lot of lease, water leakage when Decog had it before we even got it back, and since that time, it's bubbled on the inside, the sheetrock's been rotted, they've taken the sheetrock off and looked at some of the studs, and we feel like that they've gotten 3 or 4 different, opinions of how to fix it. And the city's gonna do a lot of the work, but then some of it we can't, but we will have you detailed as far as when we sit down and find out who the best is and what the best route to go.
With all the moisture and everything that's going on in there, do we have any issues with mold?
Well, yes, we did, but just minor on there, but that's when we said it's already bubbled. And the way they talked about sealing it down, we've already had it cleaned, but they're gonna probably clean it again, seal the brick, and then paint over the brick.
Okay.
So it two coats on it, and then repair all the inside where the water has leaked through and damaged the sheet rock.
Would we
So-
potentially need someone to come in to do more remediation of the building?
I don't think
No.
he was that far.
So was anyone in there after Deadcog left?
Provalis was in there,
Okay,
yeah,
and then they left.
they left, and there's nobody been in there since then.
Okay.
They've already, Brandon has kept up with, we've still got the generator, we're still keeping it, climate control, but there's still, the issues are still there that have not been repaired.
Is there any more discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All opposed, like sign. Okay. Number 5, consider the street lighting project. The last time I heard, our first bidder can't come through.
No, and there was an email that I received today from, Jared, and it was an email from Lyron Lighting, and, the gentleman with the KBS Electric says, I cannot absorb the $30 price increase nor a $5 price increase. The manufacturer's requiring a 10% down payment, which is also unusual, and he said that, they are also wanting to add $30 per fixture in order to warrant a ten-year warranty. So as the lights are they are right now, they're not gonna last for 10 years. They feel like they need to go in and add a better electronic device to do
And
it.
they're withdrawing their bid, but I didn't go back and look at the contract again.
Are they under bid
Is
bond?
that the company that we said that we're gonna do the lighting in the beginning? So are they going from the, Myron to the Cooper, or what are they doing?
No, that's not their decision to make. Our decision is, council's decision is to make of whether we go from the Lyron. If we rebid it, the engineer feels like it's gonna be substantially higher, but the current bidder cannot get that Lyron without adding a $30 cost to it.
So what decision are we making today? What are the decisions we needed to make? Whether we're gonna
We
continue
have
on using
options.
Lyron or?
We have our options.
I mean,
They
typically,
didn't bid a Lyron, they bid something similar to a Lyron. So, my suggestion, depending on y'all, I would go with our second bidder.
how do you know that they're not gonna raise their bid? How do we
we
know
had a
that they're
bid
not gonna
bond on
come
this
back?
originally, and the time frame on it, I don't recall seeing in the contract. I was wondering, and they mentioned that they had bid for 45 days, I think it was 52 from time of bid, or the time they got priced to the time it was actually processed. So I'm assuming that was in the contract that Jared had written.
That's
So-
what I was told.
That's what I understood, but I didn't see it, I didn't even look. If it wasn't, they would be liable to forfeit their bid bond on it, so they can't beat the project if they bid it. I would prefer, since the low bidder can't do it, to go to our next lowest bid, make a motion to approve the project as we originally submitted it, and see if the next person can, if not,
Who's
may
next?
have to
Because
rebid.
I don't have it. Do you have that? The next lowest bid?
I don't need it.
I don't
Yeah,
have that
I
information.
think we need to look that over again, David. I mean, I'd like to do it, whoever the next lowest bidder is, but I'd like to, review those numbers.
Pending him reviewing numbers, I'd like to make a motion to approve the low bidder based upon him reviewing the numbers after it's over.
All right. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All opposed, like sign. Passed unanimously. Number 6, we're going into executive session pursuant to Texas Government Code 551, Section 551.074, personnel matters.